Joining me now is Donald Trump's running mate, Governor Mike Pence of Indiana, right here in studio. Governor, thank you for coming in.
Good to be with you,
Welcome
Chuck.
back. Let me ask about that last statement in here. Donald Trump says that she almost stated as fact that she set up this server to cover up criminal conduct. What criminal conduct is he talking about?
Well, I think this summer when the director of the FBI gave that press conference where he essentially chronicled that Hillary Clinton had said that there was nothing marked classified on her private server. He said that was not true. When she said she had never emailed classified email, he said that was not true. He reiterated that before the Congress, but then chose not to proceed with charges. It was just incomprehensible to millions of Americans.
You believe she committed a crime?
Well, look, I think...
Do you know for sure? I mean, he is saying it for sure, and I throw this out there because, as you know, look, what Chuck, he says people take as fact. Should he be saying it that factually right now?
Chuck, you have high-ranking military officials. You have a sailor that's gone to jail in the last month. I mean, the mishandling of classified information is a very serious matter. And the FBI director concluded that Hillary Clinton, while she was Secretary of State in charge of all the foreign policy of the United States, and while she was taking major contributions from foreign governments, had a private server in which she dealt with classified information, but also had communications that we already know about. I mean, as we wonder what this new pertinent information is, we already have seen emails that have come out through various sources about pay-to-play politics, about that support this whole notion of Clinton Incorporated, that really are deeply troubling to millions of Americans. And I think that's why, well before this announcement on Friday, Chuck, you saw tremendous momentum in our campaign. You see the polls closing in states around the country. The American people are focusing on the big issues in this country. But frankly, I think they've also come to the conclusion that Hillary Clinton is a risky choice to be the next president of the United States. And Friday's announcement just reaffirms that.
Do you think it is fair to the American voter to essentially have him announce something vague, but we don't know what it is? We don't know the seriousness of it. He said pertinent, but we don't know. Is that fair to the voters? I mean, your campaign wants more information. The Clinton, it does seem as if everybody wants more information out before the election.
Well, first off, let's remember how we got here. It's that Hillary Clinton, while she was Secretary of State, had a private server that the FBI has already confirmed contained classified and sensitive information, which it endangers the national security of the United States of America. There was information about military operations on there that could well have endangered troops downrange. And so, let's recognize this all began with her. But the other piece of this, with regard to disclosure, I'm very glad to hear Hillary Clinton calling for putting all of this out on the table. Why doesn't she ask her senior aide to release all these emails? I mean, why doesn't she go ahead and release all the 33,000 emails that she did not turn over to the FBI and to the Congress initially? I mean, I think the American people have a right to know. But the decision by the FBI here, I think, is encouraging to millions of Americans because, number one, the FBI director is keeping his word to the Congress that if new pertinent information came forward that justified the reopening of the case, that he would alert the Congress. He has done that.
I think Director Comey has a duty, though, to share more information of what's known.
I think he has a duty to move forward professionally and in a timely way on this, and certainly the public has a right to know. But let's be clear. Hillary Clinton, when this story broke, I believe she was traveling with Huma Abedin. I mean, why didn't she just turn to Huma and say, put these emails out? I mean, why wouldn't she make those emails available to members of Congress or even members of the Intelligence Committee?
Definitely a question for her and her campaign.
Or to members of the media.
Definitely a question for her and her campaign. Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Donald Trump said the following: "This is the lowest point in terms of our judicial system in the history of our country." Do you believe that?
I think this summer was deeply troubling to millions of Americans when you saw the Federal Bureau of Investigation following a meeting between former President Clinton and the Attorney General on a private aircraft on a tarmac that was only discovered because of an industrious local reporter who knew that it took place. And then a short time later, you saw the Federal Bureau of Investigation essentially call a press conference. He literally indicted her in the press and then said, we're not recommending an indictment. I mean,
so I guess what I'm asking you is that, let me ask
American people, there seemed to be this double standard with the Clintons.
So do you think Director Comey was pressured not to advise to bring charges? Do you think he was pressured?
Well, we know he was pressured not to go public. We're reading press accounts that the Department of Justice opposed
But
him
you're
keeping
implying
his
that he was
word to the
pressured in
Congress of the United
July.
States this week.
You're implying he was pressured in July. Do you believe this?
Well, I have had a great deal of respect for Director Comey for many years. When I was a member of Congress and he was a U.S. attorney in New York State, we worked together on legislation to protect children on the internet. I've always found him to be a straight shooter, but that was just troubling to come out and conclude what would have been a violation of the law for any other American, particularly any other member of the American Armed Forces, and to say that she was simply extremely careless, I think was troubling to millions of Americans.
Why do you think he
Trump
came to that
about that.
So you truly believe he came to that conclusion based on pressure from others and not his own? I mean, he said it wasn't even a close call.
I wouldn't care to speculate about why he came to that conclusion. I would just tell you, I'm one of millions of Americans that were troubled by that, why there's this double standard when it comes to the Clintons. I mean, no one is above the law. The American people believe in that principle. And the willingness of the FBI now to say we have found what sounds to be an enormous volume of new emails
credibility
and to hold them accountable.
You're calling the FBI's credibility into question by saying you are saying Clinton is being held to a different standard.
I think the decision...
That isn't what the FBI is saying.
Well, Chuck, this summer, I think when the director of the FBI... Again, let's start again here. After the Attorney General of the United States met with former President Bill Clinton in a secret meeting on an airplane, then the FBI made a decision that made no sense to millions of Americans.
The Attorney General recused herself from this and and said it was up to Director Comey. I mean,
right. But then the director of the FBI.
You said you didn't want to speculate. Let me ask you this. You said you didn't want to speculate.
Hang on a second.
Governor.
The director of the FBI went to Capitol Hill two days later and literally undercut his own decision by confirming that Hillary Clinton had, despite the fact she denied it, that she had classified information on her server, she had emailed classified information. That's a violation of the law. The American people couldn't understand that decision, but I think millions of Americans are encouraged by the willingness of the FBI simply to say we have new evidence, we're going to inform Congress, we're going to proceed forward. We're confident they'll do that in a professional way.
Let me ask you a quick question on another topic.
Yeah.
Last week, Donald Trump pledged to sue every accuser that came out to make accusations about sexual misconduct. Is that how he will spend his first 100 days in office? That he is going to do these lawsuits? Is that advice you would give him?
Donald Trump's laid out a plan for the first 100 days. It's called the Contract for the American Voter.
He's ruling out suing these folks?
Your viewers can look at it.
Is he going to spend the first days of his presidency suing people?
What I'm going to tell you he's going to do is we're going to focus on rebuilding the military, reviving the economy, not through the tax increases and more Obamacare that Hillary Clinton wants, but through cutting taxes, repealing Obamacare, having smarter and tougher trade deals, and we're going to make appointments to the Supreme Court of the United States that will uphold our Constitution.
And finally,
but let me be clear,
very
Chuck,
quickly, last
you
question.
used the word reinvigorate a couple of times.
Yeah?
Before Friday afternoon,
you're saying you were reinvigorated before Friday.
The momentum was, the momentum in this campaign was rolling in state after state. I'm seeing it everywhere I go. The American people are responding to Donald Trump's message of a stronger and more prosperous America, and I believe we're going to put our head down and kick to the finish. And
on October 17th, Donald Trump had to turn in his tax return this year. Is he going to release it to the public before the election?
I think as soon as the audit is completed,
there's no audit on this. There's no audit on this return yet.
Yeah. Well,
they don't make those decisions that fast.
He'll release all of his tax returns when the final audit is completed.
All right. So not before the election.
Yeah. But look, the American people are focused on security and prosperity, on repealing Obamacare, having a Supreme Court that upholds our Constitution, a strong military, a stronger America abroad, on making America great again. And that's why Donald Trump's going to be the next president of the United States.
Governor Pence, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in, and be safe on the campaign trail.
You bet.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.